Hello, my name is Sophie Rigby. I'm a cognitive behavioural therapist at the Tameside and Glossop Talking Therapy Service. I've been doing the ARC internship now for the last year, and I have to say it's been an amazing experience. I can't believe how quickly it's gone, in all honesty. And so, creating this poster, I think, has been a really wonderful opportunity for me to really reflect back on my learning. The opportunities that I've been given, the challenges that it's brought, and the ways that I've been able to get successes out of that. My background, so I offer talking therapies, so specifically CBT to those with mental health difficulties. I specialise with working with patients with long-term health conditions, and within that, the service offers a pathway to those who are receiving cancer treatment or are in remission for cancer, and their families as well. And they would get specialised and expedited talking therapies given to them to support them through this time. So where I kind of began when it came to the internship, I knew I really wanted to evaluate the pathway. I was very proud of it that people who were struggling with their mental health during a very understandably difficult time could get given therapy straight away. It was what they needed, and it was by trained clinicians. And so I really wanted to evaluate that pathway, see what was going well, what we could do to improve the service that was being given to patients, and what we could do to always make it more patient-centered. So I kind of had an idea about what I wanted to do, but I didn't have very much research experience, and so it all felt a little bit daunting when it comes to the idea of completing a study. When it came to my aims, I first of all wanted to build up my confidence in the research environment. I wanted to know a bit about kind of, as it says, where I kind of fit into the world of research, because I have always been very comfortable within a clinical background, but with research, it was not something I was fully kind of enrolled in at that point. So I also, as I mentioned, wanted to develop a project proposal for an evaluation study for the cancer pathway in Tameside. I quickly found that I kind of fell into this learning cycle, and so this is how I've kind of mapped it to show this cycle is not something I just went through once. I would say I kind of went around this maybe a good kind of probably 100 times throughout my internship. And I think the first couple of points of the ideas that I would get, and then the uncertainty, would be something that I've probably kind of gone through for the last number of years. But I don't think it was until I did the internship with the NIHR that I was able to kind of get the guidance and the experience side of things, which really helped me kind of wholly complete kind of this learning cycle. So where I would initially get, so with the ideas section, it would be almost this kind of stream of ideas that I had. So when it came to the project, I had so many thoughts about what it might look like. What would the timeline be? What were my objectives? What was I evaluating? What criteria did I want to measure when it came to the successes or improvements of the pathway? I had no idea how I'd ever get money for this, and that was a big question as well. And then, kind of thrown into the mix, I also came across a patient who was experiencing obsessive compulsive disorder during their cancer treatment. And this was something that was quite new in relation to the way that their OCD presented. And there was no research on this. And so I was thinking, where would that fit into the research that I'm doing on the internship? So I kind of imagined it almost like funneling into this process where the outcomes ended up being, the development of that evaluation study, a successful funding application, and also something I never expected was to be able to complete a scoping review of OCD and cancer. But when I would get all of these ideas, I would kind of then be thrown into this uncertainty phase of the cycle. I'd question competence. Am I going down the rabbit hole of questions or ideas that aren't quite right? I didn't know what I didn't know in a sense, and so what unknowns were there. And I was worried, questioned, is this patient centered? And on top of that, there was a sense of trying to juggle the times, the tasks, the responsibilities, whether that was clinical work, whether that was other work, personal life, various different things. And I think this is why the guidance aspect of the ARC internship has been so invaluable. So I kind of thought about it as almost like these learning building blocks I was given. And these are some of the things that I ended up kind of receiving. So my supervision with Andy and Karina was completely amazing. It was something that really gave me insight into how to think about things with a research mind, how to go about things, and that it was okay to have these questions. And so they were fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Um, but the other guidance as well, on top of that, I could feel anyone within the team was completely approachable and supportive. The library drop-in services were really helpful. My support at work as well, I felt very kind of encouraged by the managers and the leads in my service. I was able to access the master's research modules at the University of Manchester. All the lectures, the webinars, the NIHR Learn website, and the peer group that we also had. And so you can see how almost all of these things were able to give me the academic knowledge that I needed to be able to develop the proposal, to be able to write the scoping review. It also normalized the uncertainty that people in research in any capacity can have. And I felt like I was getting a lot of support, advice, and encouragement. My experience then ended up kind of following on from that. So I then presented at the Greater Manchester Stakeholder Pathway, where I could talk to a lot of people within kind of my clinical role about the research I was doing. I wrote my project proposal and a scoping review, and they're just kind of being finished up now. I was able to do funding applications, and I attended therapy conferences about OCD in Scotland. So amazing experiences I would never have gotten if I hadn't done this internship. And something I think I really wanted to kind of highlight was the support I had when it came to patient and public involvement and engagement. I was able to work with that patient with the OCD to create a lived experience commentary to include in my scoping review. I've been attending Macmillan Service User Group meetings, and they're going to be continued long after my internship when it comes to the research that I'll be doing within talking therapies and cancer. So it's been an amazing opportunity to be able to really make sure that the work I'm doing is patient-centered and guided by the people who have their experience within this field. When it comes to where I am now, I've been able to kind of do a couple of things. So I'm aiming to get my scoping review published into the Journal of Clinical Psychology next year, and that's called the Emergence of Obsessive Compulsive Traits in Cancer Patients. I have also been able to complete my project proposal and get that approved. I was able to secure nearly £4,000 for the funding for the project. It will be starting in the new year for a year, and be continuing with the Macmillan PPIE group. I've also been asked to support another study, more to kind of get the pathway to be a pilot site. So lots of really great opportunities kind of coming up. My future aim and hopes are to be able to submit some of my research posters to the British Association for Behavioural and Cognitive Psychotherapies Macmillan conferences. I would really love to apply for the pre-doctoral programme next year and to continue my research. And I guess the main thing that this has taught me is that anything's possible. And so whilst these are my next steps, I really feel that I've got I guess, a big place in the world of research, you know, whatever that might look like. So thank you very much for everybody who has supported me and helped me throughout this time. It's been a wonderful experience.